Thank you, everyone, for joining today's live podcast, where I will be showing you how to build happiness. Now, this won't be the Instagram filtered version of happiness, nor will it be the only on good days kind. I'm talking about the quiet, steady, deeply rooted kind of happiness, the kind that lasts. Now, here's the truth. Happiness isn't a lucky accident. It's not something reserved for the chosen few. It's a practice. It's a rhythm. It's a series of small decisions made daily. And more than anything, it's a collection of habits. That's right. It's a collection of habits because the way we live each day adds up to the way we feel about our life. So I'm going to break down 5 powerful habits that will help you shape a life you love waking up to. Some are going to be simple, some are bold, but all of them are doable and backed by real shifts I've seen in my own life and in people I admire. So this episode, it isn't a checklist. It's a conversation between you and me. And mostly of all, it's going to be a reminder, a reset, because these things we already know about, but we're simply not practicing well enough. Whether you're looking to build more peace, more joy, more connection, or just feel a little more like yourself again, I am here to help you with that. So these 5 habits are your invitation to do just that. So grab a coffee or take me on your walk, maybe your drive, maybe while you're dishwashing. But before we get into it, I'd like to share with you a personal story about me and the tiny habits and building blocks I'm about to share with you that saved my life. This is the story of how I stopped waiting for my life to feel good and instead built it with my own 2 hands, one habit at a time. It started with a Tuesday. Ordinary, right? Except this Tuesday felt like every other one before. Now, I, at that time, felt like I was living my life on a loop. Alarm clock, snooze. Regret, rushing to a job I didn't love, eating food that made me feel worse, staring at screens until my brain hurt, and scrolling through social media hoping to feel something. Literally anything. I was breathing, but I wasn't living. And then it hit me. Not like lightning, but like an erosion. Slowly over time, I had become someone I didn't even recognize. But I wasn't broken. I was unconscious, living by default, not by design. So one night, after another long day of numbing it out, I sat in silence. No music, no Netflix, no distractions, just me and the question. If nothing changes, what will your life look like in 5 years? And I'll tell you right now, I couldn't answer it. So instead, I made a promise to myself, not to become a new person overnight, but to build a better life, brick by brick. And you know what those bricks were? They were habits. Tiny ones, almost laughable habits, like making my bed, drinking a full glass of water when I woke up, writing down 3 things I was grateful for, going for a walk, even just around the block. Simple, but powerful. Because every habit whispered, "You're worth showing up for, James." At first, nothing looked different on the outside. But inside, I'll tell you right now, the fog began to clear. One day, I caught myself smiling for no reason. I laughed without forcing it. I started remembering people's names. I stood a little taller. It was like I was turning back into a part of me that had gone quiet. Not because I didn't care, but because I was tired of the noise. I began to crave the rituals, the feeling of taking care of myself. Soon, I wasn't just doing the habits, they were shaping me. That morning walk, it became a run. The journal, it turned into a vision. The water, the sleep, the stretch, the gratitude, they weren't just tasks anymore. They were votes for the person I wanted to become. And here is the impasse it made. My relationships improved because I wasn't drained all the time. My work got better because I was more focused, more present, more alive, and most of all, I started trusting myself again. And you know how powerful that is? To believe in your own promises? To know when to say, I'm going to do it. You will? That's what habits gave me. Not perfection, but progress. Not motivation, but momentum. And here's the message. If you're listening to this and feeling stuck, overwhelmed, lost, or even numb, I want to tell you something I wish somebody had told me. You don't need to overhaul your whole life today. You just need one small habit that signals, I care about my future. And then do it again tomorrow and the day after that. Soon, you'll look back and realize you didn't just change your habits. You changed your life. Now, let's talk about these 5 powerful habits, principles, and shifts in perspective that will improve your life forever. Now, let's get into our first wonderful habit, connecting with others. In our world that praises independence, self-sufficiency, and hustle culture, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that the best way to succeed is to go it alone. But here's the truth that cuts through all of that noise. We were never meant to travel the road of life by ourselves. No matter how strong, driven, or ambitious you are, at some point, you'll need somebody to lean on, and somebody will also need you. So let's talk about connection, real connection, soul-level connection, the kind that doesn't just make you feel seen, the kind that makes you feel safe, grounded, understood. And this isn't just about having a bunch of people around either. It's about finding your people, your community. It's about discovering those who see you, who reflect back not only on who you are, but who you are becoming. Yes, there's a beauty standing on your own. There's value in being able to carry your weight, but there's also a strength in asking for help. Truly, there's a wisdom in knowing when to open up. There's a bravery in letting others in. As Amy Poehler once said, find a group of people who challenge and inspire you. Spend a lot of time with them, and it will change your life. Because when you surround yourself with the right people, people who challenge you to grow, who cheer you on when you succeed, and who hold space for you when you're breaking down, you start to realize something powerful. You were never weak for needing the connection. You are simply a human being. Connection, it's not a luxury. It's a lifeline. And in times of doubt, darkness, or burnout, it's often the people who are around us are the ones that hold the light. Yes. Think about this. A conversation can change the course of your day. A shared laugh can dissolve stress in seconds. A heartfelt, how are you? Really? It can begin to unravel the knots you've kept tied inside. In these moments, they aren't minor. They are everything. They're the threads that stitch together our shared human experience. You see, relationships are mirrors. The people around you reflect your energy, your growth, and sometimes even your blind spots. They'll challenge you, uplift you, remind you of who you are, even when you've forgotten. Now that is the power of connection. So let's be intentional here. Let's reach out, not just when we're struggling, but also when we're celebrating. Let's build community, not just online, but in real life. Let's be present for others, not with a scrolling thumb, but with an open heart. You don't need to have all the answers to connect. You don't have to show up perfect. You just have to show up real. So, text back that friend. Invite somebody over for a coffee. Join the book club. A dance class. Smile at the cashier. Ask someone about their day and really, really listen to their answer. Because every interaction It's a doorway into something deeper. And every act of connection is a vote for a more meaningful life. Together, we are stronger. Together, we are more creative, more courageous, and more resilient. Together, we heal. So let's stop pretending we're supposed to figure it all out alone. Let's drop the mask that says, oh, I've got this all under control, and replace it with something more powerful. Vulnerability, authenticity, connection. And you know something else? When you become someone who truly connects with others, you give them permission to do the same. You create a ripple effect of empathy and love, and you become a magnet, not just for friendships, but for fulfillment. So today, take a moment, look up, open your heart, make the call, offer that smile, start another conversation. Because connection is the bridge between surviving and truly living. And your heart, it will thank you for every single step you take across it. Here's the next beautiful habit that will help you shape a happy life. And it's celebrating often. You know, when most people hear the word celebration, they think of birthdays, weddings, graduations, the big, grand, glittery milestones. But here's the truth most people miss. You don't need a giant reason to celebrate. You just need to recognize how far you've come. You can and should celebrate the small wins, because small wins build big lives. You see, too many of us are stuck in this mindset that celebration is only reserved for the big stuff. You know, like the work promotion, the marriage, the big move, the six-pack abs, the dream finally realized. But in reality, those moments are rare. Now, they're beautiful, yes, but rare. And if you're only celebrating the big things, I promise you this, you are missing 95% of your life. The real magic, the real growth happens in the in-between, in the quiet choices, in the daily grind, in that single moment where you choose to try again when giving up seemed easier. So what if we celebrated the days we get out of bed even when we didn't feel like it? Say we celebrated every time we chose kindness over anger, every time we drank water instead of soda, took a walk instead of scrolling, spoke up instead of staying silent. Those moments may seem small, but they are sacred. They're proof that you're showing up, and that's worth cheering for. Celebration, it's not an indulgence. It's an acknowledgement. And acknowledging your efforts, your progress, your resilience fuels you to keep going. You're not just waiting for joy at the finish line. You're choosing to carry joy with you along the way. You see, when you make celebration a habit, your brain begins to associate growth with reward. You literally rewire your mind to notice progress, to look for what's working. And the more you do recognize those efforts of yours, the more momentum you're going to build. Because growth isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just a quiet thing. It's choosing to believe in yourself one more day. It's saying no to the thing that drains you and yes to the thing that lights you up, even if it scares you. So yes, celebrate the workout you finished. Celebrate the anxiety you managed. Celebrate the meal you cooked, the mess you cleaned, the moment you laughed when you could have cried. Celebrate you, not just the version you're becoming, but the version you are today, because you are growing, you're learning, you're still here. And you know what? That's worth honoring, isn't it? Think about this. You've survived things you once thought you couldn't. You've picked up yourself more times than you can count, and you've carried your own heart through battles no one else even knew about. Doesn't that deserve a toast? So, go ahead, light the candle even if it's just for you. Play that favorite song and dance in your kitchen like nobody else is watching. Write yourself a note that says, hey, I'm proud of you. You did well. Take yourself out for a coffee. Invite joy into your life today, not someday, because life is not just one grand moment. It's millions of little ones stitched together by love, by grit, and by courage. So the question is, will you notice them? Will you celebrate them? As C.S. Lewis once said, there are far better things ahead than any we leave behind. But the way we get to those better things is by honoring where we are right now, right this second. So celebrate the hard week you got through. Celebrate the lesson learned, even if it came through some pain. Celebrate the fact that today you showed up, you didn't quit, you tried. Life is a party. You don't need a reason. You just need a little awareness and a little gratitude. Throw one every chance you get. Life is for the living. You must have heard that before. Because every time you celebrate your journey, you make the destination a little bit sweeter. Moving on to our next beautiful habit. Enjoying the many forms of entertainment. This is one everybody loves, but it's something that we do, but we don't put any emphasis on it. You know, in the pursuit of our goals, in the grind of our daily life, we often forget one essential truth. Life is definitely meant to be enjoyed. Again, life is for the living. Entertainment. Just think about all this. All the entertainment. Music, books, movies, laughter. These aren't distractions. They're reminders. Reminders that joy matters. That imagination is fuel. That a laugh can be as healing as any medicine. When you allow yourself to be moved by a song, to get lost in a story, to laugh until your stomach hurts, you are feeding your soul. Entertainment connects us. It revives us. It gives us the strength to keep going and sometimes the courage to dream again. And that makes us happy. That isn't a destination. It's something that you can feel even in a 5-minute dance break. Feed your soul with some music, laughter, and stories. Don't just consume media. Feel it. Like when you're, say, at an art gallery. Don't just pass by the paintings one after another after another. Stop. Look at the painting. Look at the paint daubs. Look at the way the artist, the movements that they used with their brush. Envision what it would be like if you were standing in front of the canvas painting yourself. Stop and smell the roses. That is something I love, that figure of speech. Stop and smell the roses rather than rushing through. Like, here's another example. When you're in an amusement park and you're going through the queue, say at like the Harry Potter ride at Universal Studios. There must be 1,000 different elements to the queue that you can look at and enjoy and peruse and embody yourself in the moment. And you look around and everybody's rushing just to get on the 2-minute ride that'll be over. It's funny, isn't it? So again, stop and smell the roses. Moving on to our third beautiful habit. Decluttering your space. This one is so easy to do, and it guarantees you so much happiness. This is a topic about the silent weight that we carry, not in our minds, but in our surroundings. The clutter on your desk, the mess in your closet, the boxes that you keep saying, I'll get around to that. Listen, they're not just taking up space in your home. They're taking up space in your head. Decluttering isn't just about tidying up. It's actually a powerful form of self-respect. So when you clear your space, you're sending a message to yourself. I deserve clarity. I deserve peace. I deserve focus. Every item you let go of, it'll be one less distraction, one less piece of your past keeping you from stepping fully into your future. When your environment is clean, your energy flows freely. You make better decisions, you breathe deeper, and you're going to be thinking much clearer. So, clear the clutter and make room for the life you've been trying to create. Don't let the clutter drain your energy. A clear space equals a clear mind. Ask yourself, do I really love it? Do I even use it anymore? You know what? If not, just let it go. Clear out the noise. Make room for something new. So today, start small. One drawer, one shelf, one surface at a time. And believe me, you will begin to feel the shift, because when your space feels lighter, so will your life. Moving on to our next beautiful habit. Smiling. This is our last beautiful habit of this podcast. If you've had the chance, take a look back at episode 1 and episode 2. Every one of those episodes, we have covered 5 habits. In a total, we're at 15. And I'll tell you right now, we're going to move on to 20. There's so many different little habits that you can do on a daily basis that will help shape the happiness of not only your day, but your week and your life as a whole. So again, let's get back to our last beautiful habit during this podcast, smiling. You know, sometimes your smile can create such joy. It can become like a waterfall of just this amazing energy that you can reverberate wherever you're at. You know, Thich Nhat Hanh said, sometimes your joy is the source of your smile, but sometimes your smile can be the source of your joy. Let that sink in for a minute. Try it. Maybe right now, just smile. Guess what? Did you do it? Did you smile? Because if you did, something shifted inside of you. Let me share with you an amazing story about how powerful a smile can be. And I promise you, after you listen to this, you may never look at a smile the same way. Let's talk about Maria's story. Maria was 43 years old. She worked in a busy medical office, checking in patients, answering phones, filing insurance claims, always moving but rarely seen. She wasn't unhappy exactly, just numb. She used to be bubbly. That was the word people used. You're always so bubbly, Maria. But somewhere between life happening, a divorce, financial stress, losing her mother, her sparkle dimmed. You know, she still showed up, still did her job, but her face stopped smiling. She didn't even realize it until one day, a little girl in the waiting room asked her mom, "Why does this lady look so sad?" The words hit Maria like a jolt. She wasn't mad at the child. Kids say what they see. They don't lie. They don't even have the potential to lie. She hadn't just realized how much she'd been carrying on her face. That night, Maria stood in front of the mirror and really, really looked at herself. She hadn't smiled in weeks, maybe months. She tried to smile. It felt forced, but she held it. And then she had a thought. Hey, what if I just smiled a little more? Not fake, not forced, just practiced. Sounds weird, but that's what she did. So she made a deal with herself. For 1 week, she'd smile just a little every time she made eye contact with someone. At the grocery store, the library, at work, maybe even walking down the street. Not in a weird way, not over the top, just a warm, soft human smile. And so she did. At first, barely anyone noticed. A few confused looks, even a few people ignored her. But then something shifted. One person smiled back, then another. Then someone even said, "Hey, thanks for being so warm. You just made my day." And you know what? By the end of the week, something wild had happened. Patients who used to rush in and out started chatting with her. Coworkers started saying, "Hey, Maria, I love your energy today." Even her barista remembered her name and gave her a free muffin. But the biggest change wasn't external. It was internal. Smiling even when she didn't feel like it. She started changing the way she felt inside, and it reminded her of her own light that had dimmed. You see, there's a neuroscience behind it, by the way. Smiling releases dopamine and serotonin, natural mood boosters. Smiling doesn't just reflect joy, it creates it. 2 months later, Maria got bad news. Her younger brother was diagnosed with cancer. Her family was devastated. But something in Maria by then had changed. You know, she still cried, she still hurt, but she didn't go numb this time. She showed up for her brother every single day with a smile. Not fake, not to hide the pain, but to say, we are still here and there's still light. You know what her brother said? He said it helped him more than she'd ever know. One smile in a dark room can be the candle that somebody else needs. Maria didn't become famous. She didn't give a book or give a TED Talk. She just simply decided that smiling was a gift, one that she could give to the world and herself daily. And you know, it doesn't cost a dime. It's free. Why not? What does it hurt? You know, years later, Maria still knows it. And now, it's contagious because the truth is, a smile can change a mood. A smile can soften a heart. A smile can start a conversation. A smile can save a life. You never know what someone else is going through. And you never know what your smile just might do for them. So, try it today. Smile at the barista. Smile at your own reflection in the water or in the mirror. Smile when it's tough. Because not everything is perfect. But because you've decided to lead with light, like Maria. Wasn't that a wonderful story? Thank you so much for everybody that joined me today as we covered another 5 habits that will shape a joyful life. And again, we're up to 15 now. This is episode 3. And we've got another 5 to go in episode 4. And you know what? Let's just keep collecting these wonderful habits and talking about them. They're there. They're there for you to help you shape a joyful life. You know, these 5 habits, they're not rules. They're reminders to live, to breathe, to be there. Not in the next promotion or the next relationship or even the next goal, but here in this moment, in your body, in your life, and it's yours to shape. So listen up. Sleep well, eat well, move, laugh, love, be kind, and never forget, you are the artist. You are the architect of your own well-being. Listen up, everyone. If you're on a journey to grow, heal, or rise, hit that subscribe button because this space is for you, and we will walk this path together. Because if you can think it, you can dream it. If you can dream it, you can do it, by gosh. You can do it. This is James McDonald signing off, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again. Bye-bye for now.